Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President and CEO of the Scottsdale Area Chamber of Commerce, Mark Stanton.
Well. Good morning, Scottsdale. Good morning. You know, it's always very difficult when I speak to large groups at a chamber event and I have to stop them from talking, which is what we really want to encourage all of our guests and our members to do. So take a few minutes with me. We're going to have a few introductions and a few comments, and then we'll get you a nice break to continue chatting with your colleagues and talking about what a great city we have to work, live, and play in. So as we get started, we have a few items. We'd like to welcome you all, of course, and we'd like to begin with and we'll ask you to please rise and welcome. We'll do the posting of the colors, and then we will have the national anthem. So with that, please rise.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say doth that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Please give it up for the color, posting the colors, color guard, and we're blessed to have welcomed back retired Air Force Master Chief Sergeant Sandra Harris singing. Wasn't that amazing? Amazing. Thank you, Sergeant. Next on our to-do list right now, we're going to invite a former city council member and currently the executive director of the Scottsdale Charros to join me on stage to provide the invocation. So please welcome Dr. Dennis Robbins. Doctor.
Thank you. Morning. Good morning. Let us pray. Lord God, gather us together to give thanks and celebrate our community. Let us pause our daily routine to take stock of our safe neighborhoods, our effective schools, our superior economy, and our selfless leaders. Former Scottsdale Mayor Bill Jenkins said, "What is vital to a community are people who have dreams and can see beyond the present crisis to a better tomorrow." Allow us to dream. Let us dream of small acts of kindness, of neighbors working together, of more opportunities for all families, of improved prosperity for our businesses, and of thoughtful leadership in our city. Margaret Mead said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." Each one of us can make a difference, and each one of us does make a difference. Lord, thank you for this meal and for those who prepared it and for those who serve it. Finally, Lord, thank you for this community in which we live, thrive, and grow. We come to you this morning as your community, confident in your goodness and love. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. And I want to make sure that I mentioned that the color guard, the composition of the colors, was performed by the Scottsdale Fire Department and the City of Scottsdale Police Department. So let's give it up for one more round for them. So we couldn't hold these events if they weren't so well attended and such a great outpouring of support from our sponsors. And so we have two title sponsors today that I'm going to be introducing. And the first, from Honor Health, is the CEO, Todd Laporte. Todd?
Good morning. Thank you for that warm intro. I just want to say congratulations to many people in this room on your engagement and energy to keep Scottsdale one of the best places to live and visit, safe, healthy, and vibrant. I want to say thank you to our mayor, council, commissions, and city management for each of your heartfelt convictions and commitments to sustain our city to its high standard for an exceptional quality of life. I want to say thank you to our Scottsdale Fire and Police for their daily displays of courage, professionalism, and swift response to distress. It has always been my organization's honor to work closely with you in a way that I believe is the envy of other communities. And thank you to Mark Stanton and the Chamber for hosting this event and your acknowledgement and encouragement of how public policy and leadership is so important to a community. Honor Health is proud to be part in serving Scottsdale for 64 years. We are the city's largest employer, headquartered here, and still growing responsibly with the city's needs. As I look back on the last quarter century during my time here, I have seen Honor Health and the city collaborate in so many ways together. Of course, there was this little thing called the pandemic. But despite the risk it imposed, all of us managed it effectively, where Honor Health even utilized its complete healthcare system in response, from 3 acute care hospitals to multiple surgery centers and urgent care sites and primary care practices. At our Osborne Trauma Center, we have trained military and Scottsdale's first responders in a dedicated simulation facility focused on how to deliver critical care in our community and globally. We partnered with CMS for special events hosted in our city, such as waste management, the spring training, and tour to Scottsdale. We launched initiatives to encourage healthy living, Honor Health's real mission, exemplified by a Blue Zone Scottsdale project, which encourages more good years for each of us through education, environment, and connection in a framework that embraces our personal choices. And in just the last decade, I have seen where the team has consistently enhanced programs and access points for the benefit and convenience of all of you. More primary care and concierge sites, the largest ambulatory surgery center in the region at Raintree, the establishment of a world-class Bob Bovay Neuroscience Institute at the Osborne campus, the new heart and interventional GI centers under construction at the Shea Hospital, and yes, more parking to go with it. And last year, 7,000 babies were born at Shea, which was recognized by U.S. News and World Report for its top maternity care. And a dedicated behavioral health hospital just south of the Shea campus, and the ongoing expansion of beds at the Thompson Peak Hospital from its inaugural 64 beds now to twice that over the last 20 years, with more to come as needed for growth. and our exciting new project unveiling along Pima Road, which will open mid-year, a medical fitness center with a midlife program for women and a whole health institute that will introduce new services in integrative health and lifestyle medicine. Our research institute continues to perform hundreds of clinical trials to bring new forms of hope beyond standard care, and it complements our very large outpatient oncology network. Our new affiliation with ASU will not only aid in developing more caregivers, but also make Honor Health a home to deploy resources from one of the country's most innovative universities. The new School of Medicine has already received over 1,000 applicants for its first class in 2026, and over 3,400 nursing students from universities and community colleges like Scottsdale Community College were trained across the Honor Health Network last year. Our ability to attract trusted experts who care is rooted in the reputations of Honor Health, but also of Scottsdale as a powerful combination, and demonstrated by our top decile patient experience scores as we benchmark against a national peer group. In 2025, 99% of Honor Health providers were rated as 4.8 out of 5 via online reviews. So Scottsdale, we will remain unrelenting in our commitment in serving you as much as you have served our employees and patients. And it is our honor to provide you with treatment and healing and to promote your total well-being. Have a nice morning.
Thank you, Ted. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Well, thank you again, Honor Health. We appreciate your commitment to the Chamber and to the community. We have one other title sponsor I'd like to introduce, and that is a partner and attorney with a company called Snell and Wilmer, Mr. Nick Woods.
Since spring training starts in a couple weeks, I'm going to tell you a quick story about two very elderly former professional baseball players. They're at Scottsdale Stadium, they're watching a Giants game, and one of them says, I wonder if there's baseball in heaven. The other one goes, well, shoot, there must be baseball in heaven. It wouldn't be heaven without baseball. They said, yeah, but I wish we really knew. They said, well, look, there's only one way we're going to find out. He said, so well, let's make a deal. The first one of us that dies will come back and tell the other one if there's baseball in heaven. So they shook hands. 6 months later, one of them passes away. The survivor's at his wake. He feels awful. He starts walking home, his head's down. He gets a tap on his shoulder. He turns around, it's a spirit form of his deceased friend. He said, my God, you came back? He said, well, yeah, we had a deal. He said, so what's it like? He said, well, I got good news and bad news. The good news is there's baseball in heaven. The bad news is you're pitching next Tuesday. So there's really no bad news today. I moved here from Milwaukee, Wisconsin back in 1985. Young lawyer, bought a house on McCormick Ranch and joined the esteemed firm of Buse, Gilbert, Wake, and Morrill, where I got to work with the two best zoning attorneys in the state, and John Barry and Paul Gilbert. And as part of that, as a resident as well as working professionally, I got to know Herb Drinkwater. And those of you who know Herb, he was a very special guy. And Herb had a commitment to Scottsdale that was second to none. I not only got to know him personally, but I came to admire him. He was on city council for basically 8 years, and then beginning in 1980 through 1996, he was the mayor. And during that time, the city grew almost double, from about 88,000 people in 1980 to 170,000 in 1996. And what he did is he laid the foundation for what Scottsdale is today. He transformed it as part of a leader. And the great thing is that all of the mayors and council members who have succeeded him have built upon that foundation. And that's what makes it so special today, and you're going to hear about that. Now, one of the things that Herb is famous for is he made a statement, and there's a statue of him with his and with his dog. And there's an inscription where he said that serving the citizens of Scottsdale is the greatest job in the world. And he believed that. But one of the things I want to make sure everyone here understands is what it takes to be a council member or a mayor, right? It's not a 9-to-5 job. It is sometimes a 24/7 job. And they start before the sun comes up, they work until way after the sun goes down. But it doesn't pay a lot of money, right? When you look at the hours they work, they're not even making minimum wage. So many of them have a second job that they have to work for. And then they're trying to balance all of the demands and the things that are necessary for their family and their life. So every council member in this room, not just the city of Scottsdale council members, but those who are here from other cities, make a great personal sacrifice to do what they do for us. So I, on behalf of me and my wife Jennifer, we live in downtown Scottsdale, just want to thank the mayor and the council members for everything that you do and the sacrifices that you make and how special this city is because of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Snell and Wilmer. Thank you, Nick. Awesome walk-up song. You know, when you listen to the walk-up music, which I always find fascinating what people want to walk up to, that kind of get the crowd motivated, I think you'll see that today we have a lot of good, hard drive and rock and roll. We got a few more tunes coming. It really gets your blood pumping. And we want to get people up today and really think about what a great municipality Scottsdale is and all the things that it has to offer. As a matter of fact, I understand that the new rage is this Aura ring. Does anybody have an Aura ring? Are they wearing it? Are they? I know my wife has one. I believe the mayor has one. And I will tell you, if you don't know about it, it's sort of, you wear it all day long and it gives you data of the things that you're going through that day. It could be anxiety, it could be excitement, could be past your rest time or how you slept. And the reason why I say that is the next few months are really going to be testing the limits of that Aura ring because we have so many amazing events that are occurring. I mean, crazy events. We've got Barrett Jackson Car Auction right up the street, and they're doing awesome and hitting on all cylinders. You do just a chip shot away from there back to the Fairmont Princess, and you've got the TPC and the Waste Management Open. Well, and I will say thank you to the Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds, you out there? Yeah. So when you leave here, you got to go right to the dry cleaner and pick up your tunic, make sure it's looking good and it's pressed because it's going to be a big week. So that's coming, and then you're going to blink your eyes, and it's going to be time for Western Week, hosted by Museum of the West. And Todd Bankifer, you and Daniela Adjemi and your team, thank you so much for bringing that Western spirit to the Western spirit. And we're also going to follow that up with the Scottsdale Charros bringing us the Parada del Sol. We got a lot of things that are going to be moving. And right after that, and you've heard people say a few things about it, we can all relax and go to spring training. So we've got that looking forward to at Scottsdale Stadium. And I will tell you that really when you look at these events and you think about, for us, it's our annual pilgrimage to different events and programs. And there's many things throughout the year, but those are some really important ones that not only impress us because they have business that they bring to the Valley and to Scottsdale, but they fill up the hotel rooms. Jack, is that working for you? Where's Jack Miller? Jack, I think it should be working for you. And then just the energy. And I will tell you, that's all in great part to a great destination management organization, Experience Scottsdale, which spends every day of the week, of the year, yep. Rachel, yep, absolutely. Rachel and her team are telling the world the story about Scottsdale, and it pays off. It pays off in so many ways for businesses that are thinking about relocating or expanding or coming to Scottsdale. And we're just extremely proud of what they do and what all these events do. So by the time we get done with all these events, I want everybody to give me a call and tell me what their Aura ring is telling them about energy and activity. So we'll talk a little bit about the chamber. People ask, is the chamber part of the municipality? And we are not. We're an independent 501c3, 501c6 organization, member-based, and I think we've got, show of hands, how many chamber members do we have in the room here? How many chamber members? Awesome. For those people that aren't clapping, you'll find Tina and Linda near the back door. They'll meet you and tell you all about how you get to become a member of the Chamber. We welcome all businesses, and we're so proud of the 1,000-plus businesses that are part of the Chamber. And every year we map out programs and events, and we do it in a way to help educate and support the business community. Well, we have a lot of stakeholders. We work very closely with the Economic Development Office, with our new Economic Development Director, Kevin Burke, and we've got Judy Doyle, who helps us as well, and Josh Utterback. And we work very closely with the city. Although, again, we're not part of the city, we work closely. They're partners. Now, going back in time, the Scottsdale Area Chamber of Commerce, if I'm not mistaken, Scottsdale's going into its 75th year. How about that? 75 years that Scottsdale's been up and running. Now, I will brag a bit that the Chamber was up about 5 years before that, and we're pushing 80, and we're very proud of the fact that our founders in the Chamber were the direct influencers in deciding how the city charter would work, where major intersections would be, and that was 80 years ago. So you look at all that, and if they could see us today, it would be amazing. So I thank them, and I wanted to have you know that we're a big part of the community. We're a big part of community quality of life, education, the arts, nonprofit. And so if you have questions or you want to take a look, go to scottsdalechamber.com, and that'll outline the different programs that we've got. But I want to go on to a couple more folks and welcome them. I think we've got the Scottsdale City Council in the house, and I'd like to recognize Vice Mayor Adam Quasman. Yep. Council Member Barry Graham. Council Member Duboskus. Council Member Solange Whitehead. And Council Member Kathy Littlefield. Thank you for the work you do. It's hard. Oh, wait a minute. Our all-time crowd favorite, Marianne McCallan, who, by the way, thank you. Yeah, I'm waiting for my hug. I haven't got a hug. Thank you. Thank you and your partners, your colleagues for being here today. It's a great display of the commitment of the elected officials to the city and to the Chamber, and grateful for that. So we'll make it up. I'll give you a hug when we get done here. But I also know that there were a lot of elected officials that snuck in. I didn't see a lot on the guest list. Some folks didn't fill out their who's going to be at their table. So I see a bus pull up, and I think about 100 elected officials got off that bus and came in here today. And I'm going to try to recognize the ones that I saw, and I apologize if I miss anyone. But first I want to say thanks to all the former Scottsdale City Councilmen and women and the former mayors that are here today. Give them a big hand, big round of applause. So we've got Senate President for the state of Arizona, Warren Peterson. Thank you, Warren. Thank you. We've got Representative Matt Gress. Where's Matt Gress? Matt, thank you. We've got Representative Joseph Chaplick in the House. We've got Phoenix City Councilman Jim Waring in the House. And we have County Supervisor Tom Galvin is here today as well. And I also say I'm very proud to be the mayor of Paradise Valley, as many of you know. And I have to say that representing Paradise Valley here, because we're great allies with Scottsdale, and very grateful that I can be here representing them as well. If I missed an elected official, I'm going to ask all those elected officials to please stand up and be recognized. Now we're going to move along a bit. Thank you again for being here. And the Chamber works, we have an amazing board of directors, 50 people that serve on the board of directors. They help out in a myriad of ways and is very much a connection board. So the board gives guidance and some direction on the focus of what the Chamber is doing. But I will tell you, we get an awful lot of that connectivity. And I say that the board of directors is an outstanding group of volunteers, and we're grateful that they can be driving us forward. Please stand up if you're a Scottsdale area board member. Stand up. Let's give it up for them. They do a great job. And I want to make sure I identify Eric Luoma. Eric is the president of Cactus Flower Florists, and he is the chair of the board. So thank you, Eric. Appreciate that. Also, I wanted to mention the incredible work of the Chamber staff. I think you know most of the Chamber staff. Stephanie, where are you? Stephanie Miller, our Senior Director of Events and Programs. Riley Rivers, her associate, and Cannon Chase. And I will tell you, our Chamber is a tight-knit family. As a matter of fact, one of our colleagues, Hannah Cole, got married about 2 weeks ago, and now she's Hannah Howard. Give it up for Hannah Howard, newlywed. We also have, I mentioned Tina and Linda from Business Development, and Tom Keel. Where's Tom Keel, our finance manager? Awesome. And Cannon Chase. I think Cannon Chase also working very closely on our events and programs, who will be leaving the Chamber because he's joining the Air Force. So thank you, Cannon. And I got to give a special shout out to Jack Miller and the team here at the Fairmont Princess. Give it up. Jack, your team working with us, helping pull this event together, which is not an easy task. There's a lot of activity around it, especially while you're going into the Phoenix Open season. But I want to thank you for stepping up and partnering with the Chamber on this event, and this incredible staff that's here working today. Give it up for the incredible servers that we've got, and the folks in the back of the house. Don't forget the folks that are cooking these delicious breakfasts. And also, I'm going to give a shout out to our sound team back there from Encore. They're doing an excellent job. Excellent job. All right, I'm going to mention a few sponsors now at our different categories. If you do not hear your name, that means you're not a sponsor. Let's think about that. Yep. Next year we're going to be here. Again, I want to thank our platinum sponsors, and that's Honor Health and Snell and Wilmer. Our gold sponsors, SkyMed International, Gamage and Burnham, Banner Health. Yep, absolutely. Banner Aetna, Withy Morris Bow. Where's Jason? Where's Jason Morris? Make sure he's in the house. Thank you. Yep. Barry Riddell. We've got John Barry. Where's John? John's in the house. Our silver sponsors, we're very lucky to have New Gen Business Solutions. I think we've got Rick Kostopoulos. Always a crowd favorite. You always bring a good team of cheerleaders, and you deserve it. You do excellent work. Cloud-based solutions for events and event programs and hospitality. Thank you for that. A few minutes ago, I mentioned waste management. Who's going to the Waste Management Phoenix Open? Who's going? Well, as I said earlier, I don't know how they do this and then race into their, that's like Batman changing in the Batcave. It's the Thunderbirds. Thank you for being a sponsor. Thank you very, very much. Also, ASM America, talk about ASM America are superstars in the semiconductor equipment market. Thank you, ASM. As a matter of fact, when you're walking out and you look a little bit to the north, you'll see a couple of cranes. That's their building going up, and we're very proud and grateful that you chose Scottsdale to bring your headquarters. Bronze sponsors, we've got some great familiar names and partners. DMB and Associates. Yep. First Bank. Nationwide. Thank you, Nationwide. Cigna Healthcare. Scottsdale Community Bank. Very grateful for them. And I think we've got Scottsdale Community College. We've got, let's see here, we've got Arizona Alliance for Golf, ASU, thank you, Chase Building, Cigna Healthcare, absolutely. We've got Pima Federal Credit, we appreciate you. SRP, we need to keep that water flowing. Scottsdale Community College, I always call out the artichokes. Where are they? Where are the artichokes? I mean, basically, we're all artichokes today, so we'll go with that. Also want to thank Cactus Flower for their wonderful centerpieces. These centerpieces actually have to stay here, so if you're eyeballing them and thinking you're going to walk, please don't. They've got to stay here. Thank you for that. And also I want to thank 5 Flash Media. They'll be taking pictures. There he is, right there. Thank you, Josh. 5 Flash Media, making sure that we're up and running and looking good and taking care of it. Also, I would say that today is a great opportunity. It's going to showcase the mayor's vision, challenges that we may be facing and how we're going to face them. But most of all, today we're a sense of community. You know, we all took the morning to come and listen and be together. As a matter of fact, there are so many leaders in this room, so many excellent leadership and executives and elected officials. I'm not quite sure anything else is going on in the city because I think you're all here. But that's important. It says that you believe it's important enough to spend time together here and hear from the mayor at her annual State of the City. Now, people again ask, you know, we're part of the chamber of the government. We're not. We partner, as I said earlier. But this is one of those examples that we're so proud to work together and hold this annual event and bring the mayor forward to talk about their priorities and working forward with the constituents. You know, something like this takes a lot of time, and we're very grateful that we're trusted as a chamber to execute this program. And, you know, if you look around many communities, chambers of commerce are frequently hosting or creating a State of the City program for their mayor. And we couldn't be more proud to be the partner to bring this forward on an annual basis. And we've got just a lot of great love here today and a lot of incredible folks. And I'm going to talk for a minute about being a mayor, because I know a little bit about that. And I'll tell you that, that it's not an easy job, nor is it an easy job being on council. But I will say that having the strength and vision to take that role and to move it forward is very critical to success in our economy, in our neighborhoods, public safety-wise. And so I'm very much looking forward to hear the presentation today from the mayor, who, by the way, raised here in Scottsdale and built her career and raised her daughter here in Scottsdale as well. And I believe that Mayor Borowsky's parents are here. Where are they? There they are. Thank you. Big round for Mayor Borowsky's family. Thank you for being here and how proud you must be. I mentioned that she really is kind of a local success story. She came up through the ranks, and she has done a great job as she finished her first year, and now she's going into the second year of her first term. And we're so grateful for her engagement with the chamber. And you know, she's really got a lot to tell us today, and a lot of things on her agenda she wants to share. So let's move forward.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here. It is with great pride. Well, first, I'd like to also thank our mayor of Paradise Valley, Mark Stanton. Thank you for the chamber. Well done, Mark. He does a great job as the ringmaster, and I'm pleased to be speaking here to you today. Also, thank you to Jack Miller and his team. They are always so gracious here at the Princess. And again, he is showing us a wonderful time, him and his team. So excited to be here. And now down to business. After my first year, it is with great pride and a deep sense of responsibility that I stand before you today to deliver the State of the City address for the city of Scottsdale. I'll begin with great news. Scottsdale is thriving, right? Very much so. We are competitive, and we continue to set the standard for cities across Arizona and the nation. Hardly a week goes by without Scottsdale being recognized as best in class for quality of life, economic vitality, tourism, public safety, and innovation. If I went over every award that we've received since I was sworn in last January, we would be here until happy hour. I'm game. Anybody game? So let me simply say this. The results speak for themselves, and they reflect something important. It's not luck, it's not branding, but performance. Awards are certainly impressive, but they are not a measure of any city. The true measure of a city is how well it governs, how responsibly it manages public resources, and how faithfully it serves you, the people who call it home. On those measures, Scottsdale has made real progress this year. From my first day as mayor, I made clear that transparency, accountability, and fiscal discipline would not be optional, they would be foundational. Scottsdale residents deserve to know how decisions are made, who is responsible for them, and whether those decisions serve the public, not institutional habit or political convenience. That is why one of my earliest actions was to strengthen fiscal oversight at City Hall. As we established the Citizens Budget Commission with 7 engaged, fiscally focused residents appointed by the mayor and the city council, charged with scrutinizing city spending and identifying sustainable savings. The commission exists for a simple reason. Sunlight improves decision-making. And as the commission embarks on its first full year, its recommendations will help ensure Scottsdale remains financially strong, not just today, but for generations to come. And I'm certainly applauding all those qualified individuals that have stepped forward to serve the city of Scottsdale. And at the beginning of the year, when we had a joint session with the BRC, Budget Review Committee, I challenged our city manager to identify 10% or more in potential savings across our organization. That was not rhetoric, it was an imperative. Good times do not excuse complacency, but demand discipline. Efficiency is not about austerity. It requires alignment and ensuring every dollar serves a clear purpose, a clear public purpose. At the same time, fiscal discipline allows us to reprioritize, investing more in public safety, roadway improvements, and critical infrastructure, while easing the tax burden on our residents where possible. Reducing spending reflects a simple belief. Government should not collect more than it needs, nor simply grow because it can. When people hear that Scottsdale has once again been named among the best places to live, work, visit, and raise a family, it is easy to treat these recognitions as abstractions, but these awards are not abstract. They are lived by each and every resident, all of you, in our city, the people who we serve with pride. They show up in everyday moments. When a family feels safe letting their kids walk or ride a bike to school. When a small business owner signs a lease instead of leaving town. When a police officer chooses to stay instead of taking a job elsewhere for better pay. You know, I hear from longtime residents, people that have been here forever, how they admire the evolution of Scottsdale, but they emphasize the need to preserve our unique and special character. I couldn't agree more. I hear it from young families who say, Scottsdale, we chose Scottsdale because it feels safe and clean, a place we want to raise our children. And I hear it from you, the business community, who tell me plainly, Other cities compete for our business, and yet Scottsdale continues to win because we do the basics well, and we do them consistently. Cities rarely fail all at once, but they do drift. They drift when small problems are tolerated instead of addressed, when budgets grow on autopilot, and when leadership avoids those difficult conversations when they need to happen. Scottsdale has avoided that fate because residents and leaders alike have refused to let drift become our destiny. A resident once told me, "I don't need City Hall to be exciting, I need it to be steady." And I could not agree more. That is good government. Good government focuses on the people it serves. Often bureaucrats use statistics when discussing public safety, but people care about safety, public safety, because it is personal. When I took office, Scottsdale was near the bottom of the valley in police compensation, which was unacceptable. We were losing experienced officers, not because they wanted to leave Scottsdale, but because they could not justify staying. I spoke with one officer who told me, "I love the city, but I can't keep explaining to my family why staying here means falling behind." That is not a failure of their commitment, it was a failure of leadership. So we acted. Today, I'm happy to report, Scottsdale ranks among the top cities in the region for police compensation, improving retention, morale, and public safety across our city and throughout our neighborhoods. And thank you to our police department for your service. And fire safety is no different. Fire protection is not just about what happens when we hear sirens. It is about preparation, mitigation, and education. That's why, early on, I proposed exploring a citizen-supported volunteer fire mitigation effort, modeled after proven programs in other wildfire-prone communities. And yet progress stalled on this idea, not because the idea lacked merit, but because some chose to turn a public safety issue into a political contest. Good government is not about landing political punches or an opportunity to score a point. We all know that. I treat public safety as an obligation. This point cannot be made more clearly. Wildfires do not wait for consensus. Preparedness is not alarmism, it's leadership. Let's turn to tourism. Protecting tourism with the understanding that tourism is more than an industry in Scottsdale. It is a story we tell the world about who we are. That story is shaped by our roads, sidewalks, public spaces, safety and experience. And nowhere is that more visible than in Old Town, the front porch of Scottsdale. But over time, warning signs had emerged. Aging infrastructure, safety concerns, parking frustrations, and stakeholder fatigue. Earlier this year, as a result of all of those things, my office convened a broad summit of Old Town stakeholders, not to perform, but to listen. They asked for coordination, they asked for leadership, and they asked for action. And we were happy to oblige. In response, I requested the creation of a downtown task force. When that proposal did not advance, I faced a choice: wait or lead. Cities do not improve and advance by waiting. So I am proud to be moving forward with a mayor's downtown advisory group, and I couldn't be more excited about that. This group will focus on safety, parking, infrastructure, and experience. And I know there's a lot of you in here that are part of the Old Town and downtown business community and very successful at that. I encourage all of you to take a look at joining and getting involved in this group. We'll be starting with a brown bag lunch in early spring, which is coming up soon. So be on the lookout for notification of that, and we'd love to have your input. It's very important to the success of the project and to our Old Town and downtown area. Delay is not neutral, especially when livelihoods are in balance. Old Town matters because it reflects who we are, and protecting it is not optional. It's necessary. Now I'd like to turn to a topic that is more difficult but no less important because it goes to the heart of how our city is governed. Over the past year, Scottsdale has experienced more internal turmoil and public controversy than any of us should consider acceptable. Headlines, accusations, investigations, and internal conflict have become far too frequent. This is not healthy governance, and it is not who we are here in Scottsdale. Let me be clear at the outset. Disagreement is not the problem. Debate is not the problem. Oversight is not the problem. A city council is designed and is supposed to question, challenge, and debate. That's what we're here for. What we are seeing now is something entirely different. There is a clear difference between accountability and ambush, between raising concerns in good faith and manufacturing controversy for political advantage. In the choice between governing and performing, I choose governing. And I hope that is true of all of us. Over this past year, internal processes intended to protect integrity have too often been repurposed as political tools. Anonymous complaints, selective leaks, allegations untethered to facts, but amplified dramatically through repetition. The result of this is not transparency, not at all. The result is erosion, an erosion of trust, of morale, and unfortunately, of confidence inside City Hall and far beyond it. I hear this concern, and that's why I'm raising it today, not just from residents, but from business leaders, investors, and longtime partners of our city who ask the same question, maybe in a different way: what is going on at City Hall? If I had $1 for every time I've heard that in the past year, I'd definitely buy dinner for everybody. The question alone should concern every one of us. Governance debates are often discussed as concepts, but their consequences are very real. One of the most troubling outcomes of this current environment has been the departure of so many experienced city staff members, professionals who dedicated years, sometimes decades, to serving our great city. Institutional knowledge does not replenish itself overnight. When seasoned staff leaves, continuity suffers, as I've heard from many of you. Projects slow, decision-making becomes less informed, and the cost to taxpayers and to service delivery is real. I've spoken with employees who told me they love this city. They love their work and believe deeply in public service. But some felt caught in a political crossfire they didn't create and couldn't control. I'm sure you join me in saying that is not acceptable. We can do better. A city cannot function well when its professionals feel expendable or unprotected, and no city that values excellence should tolerate a climate that drives talent away. And we will get to the bottom of that. Scottsdale operates, as many, if not all of you know, under a manager-managed form of government, a system that has served this city well for decades because it relies on balance. Professional management provides expertise and continuity. Elected officials provide direction and accountability to the most important people, voters. To be sure, that balance is intentional. It is embedded in our city charter. But it depends not only on rules, but on norms, on restraints, on respect, and on clarity of role. No system, no matter how well designed, can function if those norms go ignored. When authority is quietly consolidated rather than openly debated, accountability weakens. When elected roles are incrementally diminished, transparency erodes. And when power shifts away from those directly accountable to the voters, public trust suffers. Make no mistake, this is not about personalities. It is about the institution. And I'll say it more clearly, this is not about me, whether it is this mayor or any future mayor. Efforts that systematically undermine the authority of the office by design or by neglect harm the city itself. It silences the voices of the voters, and it is antithetical to the very fiber of what we as Americans believe in. The mayor of Scottsdale is not just a ceremonial position. It is an elected office with a clear purpose. The office exists to provide leadership, to represent the city, and to serve as a clear point of accountability to the people who elected us to do the job. Weakening that role does not create better governance. It creates confusion. And confusion is the enemy of accountability. Residents of Scottsdale elect their leaders. They elected me with the expectation that authority will be exercised transparently and responsibly. They do not elect processes. They do not elect bureaucracies. They elect people. When power migrates away from those individuals without public discussion, without voter consent, and without clear accountability, we drift away from democratic principles, and we cannot afford to do that. The drift may be gradual, or sometimes it's really overt, but its consequences are just as profound. Good government does not fear scrutiny, but it does require clarity about who is responsible and who can be held accountable. That is why I will be calling for the establishment of a charter review committee, an independent, citizen-driven, and transparent committee whose purpose will not be to relitigate personalities or recent disputes. It will ask a far more fundamental question. Are our governing structures in Scottsdale still doing what they were designed to do: protect accountability, preserve balance, and honor the authority of the voter. We had a charter review committee when I served with the Honorable Jim Lane, and it was very successful. And I look forward to the opportunity to do that again with an eye toward real progress, real improvement, and real change in the city of Scottsdale in great ways. Doing so is a sign of seriousness. Cities that care about their future are willing to examine themselves honestly and to strengthen safeguards when needed. I want to be very clear about something else. Good government is not defined by those who choose drama and division for the sake of ego or the next social media post. It is defined by steady decision-making that reflects the real lives of real people. People trying to raise families, people running businesses, people working long hours, like all of us, and trusting City Hall to function in a healthy way. Leadership is not tested when things are easy. It is tested when silence would be easier, when avoidance would be safer, and when speaking clearly and plainly carries risk. But leadership requires courage, not theatrics, not outrage, and not ego-driven ideas. It requires a willingness to protect institutions with everything we've got, healthy institutions. And it requires remembering that the reputation of our great city, earned over decades of strong leadership and citizen involvement, can be damaged far more quickly than it can be rebuilt. I will continue to speak clearly when the moment demands it. I will continue to insist on accountability when lines are blurred, and I will continue to place the long-term health of our community above short-term politics, because Scottsdale deserves governance worthy of its people. And it is a standard worth defending. When conversations, absolutely. I'm sure we can all agree on that. When conversations become difficult, when institutions feel strained, and when the noise and the moment threatens to overwhelm perspective, it is worth remembering something fundamental about Scottsdale. Our city was not built by accident. It was not shaped by convenience, and it was never defined by the path of least resistance, that's for sure. Scottsdale's most enduring accomplishments came from citizens with vision, people who cared so deeply about this place. They were willing to stand up, speak out, potentially be ridiculed at times, and persist when the easier choice would have been to settle for less and just be quiet. Again and again, Scottsdale has been shaped not by complacency, but by courage. Some examples. Years ago, when federal planners proposed turning Indian Bend Wash into a massive concrete ditch to control the floods, this would have stretched throughout the center of Scottsdale. Many cities would have just accepted the inevitable. That was told to be the best way to go. But it was residents that pushed back, and they pushed back hard. They believed their city deserved more than a concrete scar dividing neighborhoods. They imagined something bigger, something different, something that balanced safety with beauty, infrastructure with what the residents needed. Because of their work, their voices, and their insistence, Scottsdale gained the Indian Bend Wash Greenbelt. Now, now easily one of the most admired urban park systems in the country. That decision did more than manage flood risk. It shaped the soul of our city. And it happened because residents refused to accept good enough. They refused to take the easy path. They got involved. Consider also the Phoenix Open. At the time, the idea that a PGA Tour event could anchor itself right down the road here in Scottsdale was far from guaranteed. It was far-fetched, in fact. But community leaders and their strong voices believed the tournament could elevate the city's profile and create lasting economic opportunity. And boy, has it. Today, the Waste Management Phoenix Open, who I think we should call the Scottsdale Open. Anybody listening? I know there's some Thunderbirds here. Can we call it the Scottsdale Open, please? Yes, we need to do that. I'm going to start a petition. I am. Today, it's the most attended tournament on the PGA Tour. And through no small investment by the Scottsdale Princess and their participation, call out to them again, and one of the most recognizable sporting events in the world. That didn't happen because it was easy. It happened because people believed Scottsdale could do something extraordinary and were willing to do the hard work to make it happen. The same is true of Westworld. What began as an ambitious vision by some people we actually grew up with, Howard Kimes and team, and the equestrian community. What began as an ambitious vision for a premier equestrian and event facility required navigating complex partnerships, very complex, in fact, land use challenges, and very long timelines, not to mention big investment. It required patience and persistence. Today, Westworld stands as one of Scottsdale's most important economic and cultural assets, where events, equestrian events, come from around the world. Some of you have heard me tell this story. There's an event, GCAT, the world champion Arabian horse tour, and they actually fly dozens. One show last year flew 59 top Arabian horses to our city to compete at the Arabian Horse Show from Dubai and UAE. It's incredible. We are known throughout the world for this facility. And this because someone was willing to think big and stay the course. Perhaps no better example illustrates the power of citizen leadership, though, than the McDowell Sonoran Preserve here in Scottsdale. Preserving 30,000 acres of desert land was not the easiest path. It was extremely difficult. It required voter approval, sustained commitment, and a belief that some things are worth protecting, not for immediate gain, but for generations to come. And because of that vision of very passionate individuals, Scottsdale is now home to the largest municipal preserve in the nation. Which is a defining feature of our identity and a gift to generations yet to come. It didn't happen because it was convenient. It happened because residents demanded excellence from their city and its government. On a more local level or cultural level, Scottsdale's commitment tells a similar story. the Museum of the West. It exists because leaders in our community believed that Scottsdale's Western heritage deserved to be preserved, celebrated, and shared, and on full display for not only our residents to see, but visitors and throughout the country come to see the work there. Through that public-private partnership and sheer determination, that vision became a reality, and it's one that honors our past while enriching our present and our future. These projects remind us that Scottsdale's identity is not accidental. It is curated, it is protected, and it is constantly reviewed and improved. Each of these achievements shares something important in common. They all required patience, resilience, and leadership willing to listen and then act, not from the inside out, but listening to the people we serve, the residents and our business owners. They remind us that Scottsdale's best ideas rarely originate behind closed doors. They emerge from engaged partnerships between citizens and government. That tradition matters more now than ever. Today, Scottsdale faces a different set of challenges than it did decades ago, but the lesson remains the same. Strong cities do not retreat from complexity, they confront it. They do not silence voices, they engage and encourage them. And they do not sacrifice the long-term health for short-term peace. This moment calls for that same civic courage that defined our past, the willingness to look beyond the next vote, importantly, the next headline, or the next political calculation. That is why I remain committed to expanding meaningful opportunities for citizen involvement, not symbolic participation, but real engagement that shapes outcomes and stories like I've just gone over for our future. It is also why I've joined with residents and stakeholders to help form the Greater Scottsdale Economic Development Effort. This group will work to bring together motivated citizens to promote smart growth, cultural investment, and economic opportunity. And I'm counting on all of you to be available to discuss those ideas. This work is not about bypassing city government. It is about complementing it. It is about harnessing the creativity, the energy, and the commitment that have always made Scottsdale exceptional. Scottsdale's greatest legacy is not any single building, not any single event, or not any policy. It is a culture of involvement, and that is why I've joined the Coalition for Protecting Arizona's Lifeline, formed by mayors, cities, tribes, and businesses to protect our fair share of Colorado River allocations. I believe in stewardship and in insistence that this city be worthy of the people, all of you who call it home or call it the place you do business. That legacy belongs to each and every one of us, and it carries a responsibility to protect it, to strengthen it, and to pass it on even better than we found it. As we look ahead, it is worth pausing to recognize where we stand in Scottsdale's story. This year, big year. It is our diamond anniversary, 75 years. And like all diamonds, we are multifaceted, and we celebrate that. This is a milestone that few communities reach with their character intact, their finances strong, and their reputation respected far beyond their borders. This anniversary is not just a reason to celebrate or have a party. It is a moment of accountability because every generation inherits Scottsdale from those that came before us. And every generation is judged by what it chooses to protect, what it chooses to improve, and what it passes on. Looking forward, my priorities as your mayor are clear. First, we will continue to insist on disciplined, transparent government. Budgets must reflect priorities, not inertia. Decisions must be explainable, defensible, and rooted in the public interest and for the benefit of our residents and business owners. And accountability must remain visible and real. Second, we will continue to invest in our public safety, not only through compensation and staffing, but through preparedness, prevention, and foresight. That means valuing experience, planning ahead, and refusing to treat safety as a political bargaining chip. Third, we will protect and strengthen Scottsdale's economic engine, tourism, signature events, and cultural assets, while never losing sight of the fact that economic success must work for all of us, the residents, the business owners, and the visitors, not at their expense. Fourth, we will remain focused on Old Town and our neighborhoods, on safety, mobility, infrastructure, and most importantly, quality of life. Because a city that neglects its core eventually loses its identity and falls behind. And finally, we will confront governance challenges directly and honestly, not by escalating conflict, but by strengthening our institution, clarifying authority, ensuring that the voice of the voter remains central to how our city is run. It is important to be clear, however, about what we will not do. We will not normalize dysfunction. We will not accept paralysis disguised as prudence. And we will not confuse volume with leadership. As your mayor, that is my guiding premise and my promise to you. Some treat every issue as an opportunity to land a political point, or in some cases, punch. I believe good governance is an obligation, one that demands seriousness and an unwavering focus on outcomes and how they benefit our city. This is a moment that calls for civic maturity from elected officials, from staff, and from the community at large. That means disagreement without destruction, it means oversight without sabotage, and it means remembering that public office is a responsibility, one that we all take very seriously and not a weapon. Scottsdale has never been a city that thrived on chaos, never. We thrive on clarity, on quality, and on trust. And looking forward, we will do that. Those values did not appear overnight, and they can be lost far more quickly than they were built. That is why leadership matters most when things are difficult, not when consensus is easy. Scottsdale endures because it has always demanded more of itself, more thoughtfulness, more stewardship, more respect for the people who live here and invest their lives here. That is why families choose Scottsdale, why you, the business community, invests here, and why this city continues to lead even as others struggle to keep pace. But success is not self-sustaining. It must be earned again and again. And as your mayor, I recommit to you today to listen, not selectively, but sincerely, to lead not theatrically, but responsibly, and to act not for applause, but for impact and lasting results. But I will continue to speak plainly and honestly when the moment demands it. I will continue to push for solutions when delay is tempting, and I will continue to place the long-term health of our city above any short-term political gains. Because Scottsdale deserves governance worthy of you, the people that live and do business here. And as we enjoy Scottsdale's diamond anniversary, we have an opportunity not just to honor our past, but to set the standard for our future, a standard of integrity, of accountability, and of civic pride. If we remain grounded in the values that shaped our great city since its incorporation in 1951, there is no challenge that we cannot meet, and no future we cannot shape to be even better than it is today. This is our city. This is our responsibility, all of us. And together, we will carry Scottsdale forward, stronger, steadier, and worthy of the people who call it home. I invite all of you to join me in this charge. In summary, it is my honor to be serving all of you, all of the residents, business owners, and stakeholders in Scottsdale. I'm looking forward to a phenomenal 2026. We've got the world by the tail, Scottsdale. And in spite of anything you read in the press, Scottsdale is knocking it out of the park. Absolutely. Which shows our true character, our true abilities, and our true commitment to success. I thank you all for listening today and for participating. This is a packed house and sold out event, and I am honored by your presence. And my door is always open. My phone is always on. Most of you have my cell phone in the room. Call me, tell me what's on your mind, tell me how you can do better, and I'm just absolutely delighted to hear your input. Thank you very much for being here.
Please give it up for Mayor Lisa Borowsky. Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it very much. Just a few more minutes before we send you back out into that beautiful weather that was provided by the Scottsdale Area Chamber of Commerce, I might add. Just a couple things. Earlier, when I started the program, I mentioned the blood pumping energy. I talked about the events. I've talked about the vibe. I've talked about how this community has such great energy and passion. But I used blood pumping for a reason. And I just want to give a shout out to one of our longtime chamber partners and a sponsor for today, and that's Vitalent. And if you, give a round of applause to Vitalent. So I figured, since we were talking blood pumping, no one better than I can call out and say thank you to Vitalent for being such an important part of our community. If you don't know Vitalent, Vitalent provides blood supply for all the hospitals in Arizona and many around the country. And we're incredibly grateful that Vitalent is their headquarters is based right up the street, and we're very grateful for them. And today, they're having a blood drive down at the state capitol, so if you're down there, consider offering some blood. I've learned through the Vitalent team that there is a constant need and a constant shortage of vital blood, and they can provide you a quick and steady evaluation to get considered for donating blood. So I ask you to please consider donating blood, contacting Vitalent, vitalent.org, and setting up a blood drive in your office space or with your employees and participating. That's a critical ask that the Chamber is giving to this team to this community, and that is Vitalent is ready to help, vitalent.org. Thank you, Vitalent. Big round of applause. So again, Lisa, Mayor, I appreciate your commitment. I appreciate your energy. We're all rooting for the city to be successful, and we'll do whatever we can to help. I want to thank all of you for being here today. There are a couple of events coming up that I should mention, because if I didn't mention it, I wouldn't be a good chamber guy. We got 3 events coming up. We've got a Women in Leadership program that we're very proud of, and every one of these in the series represents a female leader that's overcome adversity, has been challenged in different ways, and they tell their story from the heart. And we are so proud of this list of activities and guest speakers. And the next one's coming up in February, and that's going to feature Dana Herzberg. Dana Herzberg is an education professional that has created a pathway for special education to help children that may be suffering from dyslexia or ADD. And she created a school called the Jones-Gordon School. And if you haven't seen the Jones-Gordon School, it's right off of Tatum near Doubletree. Used to be the old Tesseract campus. We're going to have Dana as our guest speaker, and she has an incredible story, her own story of how she got to this place, what motivated, and what she overcame to build this school and become part of the community. So that's coming up. Make sure you check scottsdalechamber.com to see the details. Registration is open. That's only a couple of weeks away. Also, we've got an upcoming economic forum. Please take a look at that, and that's our Scottsdale Forward, where we're going to have economic input and leaders from around the valley and out of market coming and talking about the state, the city, the nation. Where are we looking at the upcoming year for economic trends? And finally, I'd be really remiss if I didn't mention the History Hall of Fame event. And that's a signature event that we have in spring, and we're incredibly honored to recognize those individuals and organizations that have really gone above and beyond. So check the calendar, register, help yourself learn about the community. The Chamber is here to help. And with that, have a wonderful morning. Thank you very much. Drive safe, everybody. Thank you.